Oh, look. Oh, my word. Look at that. Baby. All right, y'all, I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for coming back for yet another week, and here we are at the Freedom Factory. This is what I'm calling Freedom Factory Grass Part 2, and as you can see, it's super trash. Now, all of this was just done. The guys are having a little bit of fun here because they know we're redoing it, so they're doing donuts and drag races and all the stuff they were actually not really supposed to do in the grass all these years. They're doing that today. But actually, over time, not from them doing this, but just from races and events and different things going on and wrecks and all these things, that developed to the point where we had a lot of bare spots in the grass, a lot of areas where there were no grass, but also we had a lot of ruts, and it got really difficult to mow out here. You couldn't really see the ruts because the grass would grow in around it, but when you'd mow, it'd be bumpy and just became a problem. And then over top of that, the topography of the grass, or the whole track, has changed. They added a burnout pad, they added the inner track, they've done different things, and what that's done is it's affected drainage in spots to the point where we had some areas that were just dying out, being flooded all summer. So I got together with Cleet, and he said, hey, what can we do to redo this? So I called on some of my best sponsors and also my own company, Yard Mastery, and we put together a plan, and now we're redoing everything. So with that, this is day one. We'll just kind of show you what's going on here. It's going to take a good 3 weeks to do everything, and we're working around their different events that they have, because the last thing we want to do is install this new sod and then have the Tour of Destruction come in and destroy it. So we're working through that, but our main goal is to be ready for the Freedom 500, which is April 5th. And that whole weekend there, so that's what we're under the gun for. Today is, I don't even know, Nick, what is today? February 26th, I don't even know what day it is. So today is February 26th, and we basically have till April 5th to get this all ripped up, get it regraded, fix drainage, any irrigation heads that we find broken, gotta fix those, get the new sod in, get it established and rooted, all by April 5th. So with that, let's go look at what we're doing today. All right, so this project, actually, we hired it out because we can't do this kind of work by ourselves. We don't have the right equipment for it. I don't, for sure, or the time. So it's been hired out, and we have some sponsors, which I'll be talking about through the next series of videos that we do. But the first thing to get the side out is they had to go around the edges, and they got to do all those by hand and scrape everything out. And then over here, you'll be able to see where they got the big machinery that's been going. And this is where they're really taking out the big swaths of the sod and taking it and dumping it. So, I mean, if you look at what's done here right now, this has taken 2.5 hours. This is a very slow process because the grass is so thick and it's so rooted in. And they also have to go pretty deep because they have to make sure they pull out all of the roots and the sod itself. So let's take a look at that next. All right, so you can see this is the sod they're pulling out. And I wanted to show you these roots. I mean, that's a good, I don't know, ask your girlfriend, that's at least 8-10 inches or so. But that's why we're having to dig so deep, is because we need to get all of this out. You know, you can see this is a stolon right here. This is how St. Augustine grass grows, for you guys that don't know. This is a stolon. These are all stolons right here. These go around and they spread, and here, I'll just pull this all apart. Let's just show you. Let's just dissect our St. Augustine grass here. So that's a stolon, and you can see it runs across, and then it sends roots down, and then it sends up grass blades. Now, these are ones that are deeper, and this has been kind of scalped off. I had to scalp it down the other day. But that's kind of how a stolon works. Here's one that's newer. So there'd be grass blades up here, and again, I had to scalp it off, but grass blades up here, roots down here. But it just shows, I mean, this is just old racetrack sandy soil in Florida. And by the way, look at how nice and dark our dirt is. That's because I've been putting biostimulants here for several years, as well as my ferts have bionite in them, which is an all-natural additive. So this is not just old nasty sandy Florida soil. The other thing is we are taking this out so deep. The actual new sod, which we'll show you in another episode here, or in future part of this video, the new sod itself will come with a couple inches of fresh dirt. So either way, just wanted to show you that is kind of how things are going. It's a little bit painful, but it was something we needed to do. So goodbye, old St. Augustine grass. You will be missed.
So for the next 2 weeks, the crew with Grass Inc. removed all of the existing sod, graded each section, and added fill dirt where needed to prep for new sod. They also built up the green that will be in the middle of the backstretch. Now we have 3 varieties here being installed. 54,000 square feet of CitraBlue St Augustine grass here on the wings, 26,000 square feet of CitraZoy zoysia grass on both sides of the burnout pad, and 16,000 square feet of Northbridge Bermuda right across the backstretch. 96,000 square feet in total, or about 2¼ acres of turf, which brings us to our first sod day on Tuesday, March 12th.
All right, y'all, here we are. It is sod day. Been out here already for a couple hours filming. Cleetus has been out here messing around, doing his thing, having a good time. And now this is all getting put in. Oh! Now the first thing we have is the North Bridge Bermuda, and this is going to look a little different than what a lot of you have seen with sod.
Your ass is grass, bud.
Yes, it is. Because this came in rolls. They look like little Debbie Swiss cake rolls. And the reason they do that is they have these special machines where they can roll it out. And what you get, the advantage here is you get fewer seams. If you had squares, you have a lot of seams that have to close up and can show. But with these long rolls, it's fewer seams, so this should be ready to go and looking pristine a lot quicker, which is great because this is the back stretch where we're going to go ahead and paint the logo for the Freedom 500. So that's what's going in now. And then we also have Zoysia that's going in over here. Let's go take a look at the CitraZoy. All right, and now here we have the CitraZoy, and you can see this came in squares. Now this actually came out of Panama City, so northern Florida, so it's a little bit dormant out of winter, but there's plenty of green in here. So once this gets laid, I'm gonna have my work cut out for me to get this rooted quickly and get it greened up, because today's March 12th and the big event is April 5th. So we're pretty close, but I feel like we can do it. I have no concerns there. It's just a matter of getting out here and getting it watered, getting it worked. I put down a little bit of fertilizer yesterday as well. I have a soil test here that shows we have plenty of phosphorus, so I didn't use starter fert. I just used flagship, and I did it at a lower rate. So I put down about a half a pound of nitrogen and a little bit of potassium along with those miners. That's in the dirt, and that'll just get things started. Did that yesterday. And now the next thing I'm gonna do is once this sod gets laid is I'm gonna go over the top with sea kelp from CK as well as hydrotane. And those two things are gonna really help us get rooted in, retain moisture. So gonna be a lot of fun. This is the stuff I like. The laying the sod is, yeah, it's just backbreaking work, not really my bag. But the fertilizing, the spraying, the praying, that's my thing. And then we're gonna mow it. And I've got a reel mower coming, and so I'm gonna get a nice little reel cut on it, hopefully get some stripes. And then the St. Augustine, that's gonna come in a couple days, and we're gonna do that, the CitraBlue St. Augustine on the ends. So that's kind of the update from the Freedom Factory here on sod day number 1. All right, y'all, so here we are, second day of sod, and we got a little flood going on out here. This is on west side Zoysia, which you can see they got all this far yesterday with the sod. I'll take you over there in a minute. That side's all done. The North Bridge Bermuda's all done, and then they got this far with the Zoysia, so good progress there. But now we came in today with this, and what this is there was some valves broken over here during the last event. Something ran directly over the valve box right here and crushed it, and so a bunch of the valves were all off. Then the guys fixed it yesterday, and then because we've done some sod here yesterday, we ran irrigation overnight because I needed wet soil, not this wet. But anyway, it appears as if one of the valves has gone ahead and let loose from the repair, and now this is what we're left with. It's draining now. There is a super positive piece to this though. Two positives actually. One is it's allowed us to see any areas that we might have low spots that we need to correct. And so you can see over there, they've actually now brought in some more dirt because they've identified that as a low spot because from this flood, the water was sitting over there. So that's one positive. The second positive is that the drains that I had installed years ago, we get to see that they are indeed still working. So there's one right there, and it's flowing slowly. You probably can't tell from this. But then there's another one over there we'll look at, and then there's one right here that's working. And we never knew if those drains were still working. When the power was put in down here, they had to run conduit underneath, and they nailed my drainage in through here. Well, the crew here, they actually found the break when they were doing the grading, and they fixed it. So now this drainage over here, again, they're gonna fill in a low spot, but this drain right here, which has been non-operational for the last, I don't know how long, year and a half, it now works because they repaired the conduit underneath. I meant to say drain pipe or corrugated pipe. It's not conduit, but you get what I'm saying. You can see them over there now just working on the drain to level it. So even though this looks bad because we have all this flooding here, it's actually turning out to be a good thing, and it's gonna save me issues down the road. So with that, it's time to get doing some spraying and praying. All right, y'all, so here we are. The North Bridge Bermuda is finished. It was 99% finished on day 1. They had to bring in a couple 2-3 more rolls to finish it up here early this morning on day 2. So this is looking great. Man, it's already looking nice and green. And it did get a watering last night, which we're gonna check to see how effective that was. You did see we had a broken valve over there, so I don't know how that actually affected the watering overnight, so either way. But let's go over here now. And this is actually the CitraZoy zoysia grass. And this came in squares, not the rolls, and that's fine, that's standard for zoysia. So we have a lot more seams and everything. The other thing is this came in maybe slightly dormant, and that's because it came from Panama City, which is a little bit further north from us, quite a bit far north. And so they had a different cold temperatures and things like that. But either way, it actually looks better to me now. Yesterday in the sun, it was looking a little cooked. But today overnight, with the watering and just probably the dew on the lawn and the mild temps, it's looking much better. So, and that's pretty typical. So either way though, we gotta get some stuff on here to get this moving. This is my concern because today is March 13th now, and the big event is April 5th. That's not, we can put how many days that is on the screen, but it's not that many to get this not only established, have all the seams close up, and then get it uniformly green and fully rooted in. Maybe not in that order, but that's gonna be a lot to do. So we'll see, it's a challenge. Either way, we will triumph. It just may be after April 5th, but I'm gonna do everything I can to push it. So the first thing I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna look, because we did have irrigation running over last night, I think. So I wanna just check underneath the sod and see how well the irrigation did. All right, so now this hasn't been rolled yet. It's gonna get rolled today because they're still finishing up that side over there. Again, we had the flood over there, but once they finish that side, sometime at the end of today, this will get rolled. So this is really just an early check, but I'll need to do this again. But what you do is once you sod and you do your first watering for whatever, I mean, half hour, 45 minutes, whatever it is, what you do is you lift up the sod and you feel underneath, is it wet? You don't want it to be soaking, you don't want water pooling under here, but you definitely want the bottom of this soil to be wet as well as the soil that's underneath. And I can feel that's good and wet. It's not puddling, nothing like that, but it is good and wet. So that means then that whatever cycle was run last night, and I'll have to check, that was a good cycle. Now again, I'm gonna do a full test once everything is done here. I'm gonna get on here and do a little bit better test, but for now, this is enough to just start gathering some data to make sure I get my watering right. All right, y'all, so after water, the next most important thing with new sod is I like to get down my products, and the two products that I'm gonna put down, as we mentioned before, we already put a little fert down, already took care of that, that's on the dirt, but now over the top, right after, I'm gonna put on some CK, sea kelp. I did videos last year that showed you get a lot faster, deeper root growth when you use sea kelp, so that's the CK. Of course, I have a nice big jug of it here. And then also hydrotane, because I'm trusting that we're gonna be able to water here, we have a good irrigation system, but why not put some hydrotane in there just in case. And we're also gonna try the new Hydrate Liquid Cure from Greene County. So that's what we're gonna be doing today, and we're gonna be using the GCI Turf Cart Buddy. Now, I'll do a full review on this later on. I've actually sprayed a little bit at my house with it, and today I'm gonna go ahead and spray these large sections here. So let me kind of explain my strategy there. All right, now Pete has given us a professional setup, so what's cool is we have the old Chemlon gun. Now, this is owned by Lesco now. It's funny, rumor has it that the guy at Chemlon, there was an employee at Chemlon, a lawn spray technician that invented this gun, and he didn't get a dime for it because he was working for TruGreen. I don't know, that used to be a rumor that went around, but what I have here is a 20-gallon tank on this, and the choices I have when it comes to volume, and again, we're not gonna go too much into the math, but I wanna share it with you, is I've got a 2-gallon per minute nozzle, and then I have a 1.5 gallon per minute. Now, the areas that I'm spraying out there, the two zoysia sides, are just over 13,000 square feet, and then the back side, the North Bridge Bermuda, that's a little bit over 15,000 square feet. With a 20-gallon tank, and if I was to use the yellow nozzle, which is the 2-gallon per minute, and of course 2 gallons would cover 1,000 square feet at that point, because you get more volume, which is what we want. It's great to have more volume, larger droplet size. But then in a 20-gallon tank at 2 gallons per minute, I'd only get 10,000 square feet of coverage, and that's gonna be way too short for anything I'm doing out there. So when I switch to the blue nozzle, I get 1.5 gallons per minute. 1.5 gallons covers 1,000 square feet. So still more volume, which is good. More volume than I get with a backpack. That's kind of what most of your references are with backpacks. So I get more volume, which is good. Smaller droplet size though, which I don't prefer, but it allows me to cover over 13,000 square feet with a 20-gallon tank because of the 20 gallons and then the 1.5 gallons per minute. And of course, 1.5 gallons covers 1,000 square feet. Just so you know, if you ever thought that guys out there spraying lawns weren't smart, they are, because they know all these calculations. All right, first thing I'm gonna do is turn this on. That's gonna get everything circulating in there. Call that the royal boil. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pressurize the system here. So we're gonna go to 30 PSI, right there. Lock that in. Now I'm just gonna get everything out of the hose because I did some practice sprays at my house the other day. And so I just wanna get all that out of there just to make sure everything's through and good. All right, now it's been a little while since I've sprayed with a rig like this, so don't judge the technique, but I'm kind of thinking about hose management. This is pretty wide open, but I think I'm gonna start over here and I'm gonna trim past it and go to that far corner and then work my way back. Knowing I got a pole there I gotta work with, but anyway, let's do it. Here we go. All right, let's do something. Let's check, because we're halfway done now with this area. Let's check on our mix and see how my walk speed is doing. So one thing, this tank, it doesn't have any graduation marks. So I'd have to put those on there myself, and I will do that eventually. But for now, and it's kind of hard to tell because the cart buddy sticks up metal. In other words, that's not the whole tank. It goes down there to the wall, but just to get it out eyeballing, yeah, it's about halfway. So I would definitely say, here, Brett's here, he never lies. Brett, isn't that about halfway, would you say, when you take into the amount of the cart buddy that's there?
Yeah, it's pretty close to halfway.
Trust me, Brett, if he could call me out, he would do it.
I would. One of my favorite things to do is call out loud.
Yeah, but anyway, so that's good. So what that tells me is, even though my spray technique is pretty bad, I don't like spraying my hose. There's times when you're gonna spray your hose, you just can't. I should have started over there and worked my way across instead of in the middle of this. But it's what it's made me do is go ambidextrous with my spraying, which is fine. But the biggest thing that I care about is that now that I know my walk speed is good, now I can start adjusting the hose management. So with that, let's finish spraying and praying. Okay, well, I just remembered why I don't like the blue nozzles. It's because they create such a small droplet size, and there's no real wind out here really, but my pants are soaked. Now again, it's just sea kelp and hydrotane, so nothing to worry about, but man, if I was spraying like fungicide or something, and by the way, anybody that's in the professional realms, you've had days where you're soaked like this, but that's why we used to use the higher volume nozzle at TruGreen, the yellow, because the bigger droplet size at the higher volume would keep you from getting so much on you. But it's what I'm stuck with, because again, you got to work with the equipment you have. This is only a 20-gallon tank, and I already kind of did the math for you guys and why I had to do it this way. So I'm kind of stretching this really for what it's supposed to be doing. But anyway, as far as the way the unit works, incredible. Sprays like a dream. So nothing wrong with the unit. It's really just about the nozzle size and the tank size that I have to work with. So we're not gonna make you guys sit through all the rest of it. Maybe we do a little B-roll montage or whatever, but I'm gonna go spray the Bermuda now on the other side, and we'll see what we get into after that. All right, y'all, good morning. Today is Monday, March 18th. We are essentially 17 days away, 18 days away from the Freedom 500. This is the Zoysia now. It came in, let's be honest, it came in dormant. I mean, looking a little bit yellow. It's now been watered all during the weekend. We had cycles set up. I had cycles running every 3 hours, which turned out to be a little bit too much water, but we'll adjust that later. But either way, it has greened up considerably. I'm feeling much better about the Zoysia here. Again, 17, 18 days until April 5th is going to be a challenge, but it is definitely looking better. It's actually gonna be time to mow it soon. We're gonna do a little root check here. This particular grass has been in since last Wednesday, Thursday-ish. And so we'll do a quick root check, and then we'll go over and we'll look at the Bermuda here, and then the Zoysia on the other side, which has come even further. So with that, let's take a look. So typically your sod is gonna tack down at about 10 days. And we are at like 6.5 here. So let's just see if we have any root hairs coming out yet. And the answer is, oh, I see one. I see an earthworm. No, not anymore, I don't. But we do have a little bit. See that right there? Look at that. It's our first Zoysia root coming true over by there. So we got one. We got one, Bob. I'll take it. They actually had a couple events out here this weekend. And if you were here for the Cars and Coffee, I want to thank you for staying off the grass. You guys did a great job. You were super respectful. We don't have any issues here, and I'm sure you had a great event. So thank you for staying off the grass. All right, let's take a look at another spot. We'll go right here, see what we can find. Nothing. Hey, we got another earthworm though. I mean, we're good there. So one thing we will look at under here, see how wet this is? This is too wet. So it's a little bit muddy under here, and this is what I told you, I was watering too much. So I'm gonna back the watering down. I've been watering 4 times a day, every couple hours. I'm gonna back it down to 3 times a day. And
Yeah, just back it down. It's a little too much. You want it to be wet underneath, but not puddled, and this is puddled.
All right, so it's too early anyway. Like I said, this has been down like 5 or 6 days. It takes a good 10 to really get some rooting in. So we're just gonna keep watering, keep it going, but you can see it's nice and green because we're keeping the sod wet. Let's go take a look at this Bermuda. It was the first that was installed. So it has been 7 days since the first part of the Bermuda. It took 2 days, but 6, 7 days since this was put down. Let's see if we got any rooting yet here. Okay, so this is our North Bridge Bermuda. Now this came in really green because this came from Sod Farm further south here. It's, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm sweating, it's like so humid today. You can almost like cut the humidity out of the air. So anyway, let's go down and see 6, 7 days. Let's see how we're doing on the North Bridge Bermuda. Do we have any roots yet? Let's go for it. Oh, look, oh my word, look at that. Baby. Now that's the difference in sod coming in green and ready to go, and the zoysia over there that came in dormant, so it had to, man. So there we go, 6 or 7 days. This particular spot here, 7 days. Look at all of those roots. John Perry, incredible. CK doing its thing on that. 7 days, I mean, that's a lot of rooting too in just 7 days. So this is looking really good. All right, now let's check the area of the Bermuda because that was a lot of roots, more than I expected. That's great. Let's check this area. This was actually put down a day later because they had to get a couple extra rolls. This little section right here, so let's see how it's rooted in. Let's go in right here. All right, so this was put down 24 hours later. Look at that, incredible. So that's 6 days. These do look a little shorter. I don't know if you'll be able to tell on camera, but these are not quite as developed because there's 24 hours difference, but still, wow, incredible. So that North Bridge Bermuda, it is aggressive rooting. And of course we got sea kelp in here and hydrotane to help out, so nice stuff. All right, now this is the other side zoysia, and this actually got installed later. This got installed a couple days after that over there, but it's looking greener to me, maybe. I don't know, the sun's a little low in the sky, hard to tell, but it is definitely greened up, and that is incredible. So let's just get in here and just take a quick look, and let's just see. I don't think we're gonna have any roots yet, again, because this came in a little bit dormant, even though it's all greened up now. It's been putting all of its energy into greening up, I guess, which is what I want. So let's take a look for some roots. Ready? Here we go. Yeah, nothing yet. All right, so I'm a little optimistic here. Watering, a little bit wet under there. Not too bad here though. Still gonna back it off just a little bit, but yeah, again, this was put in later, came in dormant, so no roots yet. All right, so what we're waiting on now is we need a little bit more zoysia for here, and then the CitraBlue St Augustine is going on the end. You can see the team back there prepping now. So that is gonna get in today and tomorrow. So you can see that CitraBlue is really coming in late. We just looked at the rooting here. It's coming even later. So we'll have to see how long that's gonna take. The good news about St. Augustine grass in general, especially the CitraBlue, it's thick and dense. So it doesn't show the squares quite the same as this low cut turf does. So I think it's gonna end up looking really good, really fast. At least that's what I'm doing, hoping for the best. So under the gun, got a lot going. I'm gonna actually have to mow that Bermuda over there, that North Bridge. That's gonna have to be mowed probably tomorrow or the next day so it doesn't get away from me. So a lot of work still to do here over the next 17, 18 days, and we'll keep you informed, and I'll see you in the lawn. All right, y'all, welcome back to another update. Today is March 26th, so we are 10 days away from race day. We're out here to do a quick route check, and now this week is when whatever maintenance I'm able to do is gonna start, and we'll show that a little bit later. But for right now, what I wanna do is just do a quick route check. We're standing on top of the CitraBlue St Augustine grass. It came in looking beautiful, and now it's been in just a little over a week. Let's take a look and see if we have any rooting yet. All right, look at that, okay. Those are some pretty deep roots. It's not a lot of roots, but it's like the Bermuda just had hundreds and hundreds of roots. These are more longer and deeper and fewer, but still we're getting root. Let's check another couple places. Yeah, same thing there. And I'm just checking for moisture. Our moisture level underneath is good. We're not puddled, but it's wet. So that's exactly what we want. And you can see we do have rooting. So CitraBlue St Augustine doing its thing, getting tacked down, looking good. Now they actually had an event out here over the weekend and they did an excellent job protecting the grass. You can see we got barriers all around here. They've got the tires all around everywhere. And when we get over to the Bermuda over there, you'll see they have a whole wall they built. So I love seeing that. That is exactly how it should be done. Protect the grass at all costs. So, all right, here we are on the CitraZoy zoysia. It is looking so much greener. I'm really happy about that. I would like to do a root check though, because again, it came in dormant. So I just want to see, is it all green? Do we get some roots? What do we got? So let's go down here and let's take a look. What do we got? A little bit. Look at that. Okay. Boy, this stuff is really going slow, but it's trying. It's trying. We got a couple of roots coming in there. See that? A little bit. All right, so, you know, when I was thinking about when I established the Empire zoysia at my house a few years ago, I remember it was slow to establish too. I seem to remember it taking several months for it to really get rooted in and going well. So we'll see what I might be able to do to that zoysia to hopefully green it up at least for race day. Maybe something I shouldn't do, but I'm gonna do it anyway. But here we go, look at this. This is the North Bridge Bermuda, looking gorgeous. There's that wall I talked about they put up over the weekend when they had a race here. So that protect us, we got nothing out here. North Bridge just came in beautiful. This has already been rooted. This was fully rooted and booted last week when I was here, so we can do a root check pretty much anywhere. It's not coming up. This stuff it's anchored into the ground. It is gorgeous. So really happy about this. We do have a few seams that you can see coming down through here. And so that's what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna put some nitrogen on this and hopefully, don't you do this, y'all. You shouldn't be putting nitrogen on your lawn when it's only been down for 3 weeks, but I'm gonna try to do that to push some color here, hopefully for the event, because I gotta come in here with a reel mower and start mowing this off. And we got nutsedge coming up everywhere, which is typical when you do a lot of watering. And we knew we had nutsedge problems here, but I gotta get in here and cut all that off. So I got a lot of maintenance to do here. I don't know how good this is actually going to look. Bermuda's a little bit frisky, and anyway, I'm gonna do the best I can, and I'm gonna get in here and give it a good cut sometime this week, and maybe over the next 10 days give it 2 more cuts. So we'll see, but it's definitely rooted and looking good, so real happy about that. All right, so what I'm putting down is an application of flagship. It's way too early. This zoysia is not even rooted yet, not even close. However, I've got an event coming up here and you can see it's greening up. So we're getting top growth, it's just not rooting. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attempt to green it up as much as possible and just, I don't really care about the roots right now. I need this to be green for the event, and then I'll kind of pick it up later. So again, this is something I'm doing because I just have an ego and I want this thing to look good. So you all shouldn't do this. What you should be doing with your new sod is really just watering it. The sea kelp we put on and all that's fine. But this stuff, again, coming out of dormancy, I got to try to push it green. So, and you know, that's what I kind of do, right? Is they want a green grass here, and I'm going to do what I can to bring it to them, and I'm going to take on the challenge. So, I'm just looking for an excuse to throw down. Let's do it. All right, y'all, there you go. There is the culmination of a little over 3 weeks worth of work to get brand new sod here at the Freedom Factory. I can tell you at this point, I'm cautiously optimistic. I was hoping it would be a little bit further along, and now being just 10 days away from race, it's not gonna be perfect like I want, but I think it's gonna be decent. I think it's gonna be okay. Now, I've got a lot more work to do, so make sure you subscribe. I'm gonna come out here with a reel mower tomorrow, mow off this nutsedge, but also try to start training this Bermuda just to see how good and tight I can get it in the next 10 days. And then of course, keep watching, because 3, 4, 5 weeks after that, that's when this is all gonna be perfect, and I'll continue to give you guys updates all along the way. So with that, I hope you guys have enjoyed this series. I hope you will subscribe and continue to watch. With that, I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the lawn.
But wait, there's more.
All right, y'all, wanted to just finish up this video here real quick and give a final thank you to our sponsors. That's SatQuote. SatQuote, if you're a contractor and you need to see outside measurements of properties and you need a little bit better quality views than you can just get from Google Maps, try out SatQuote. They've got a lot of extra shots and new things that you can check out there and zoom in, as well as overhead shots from drones and stuff like that. So if you're a contractor and you need to measure anything, check out SatQuote. And I'd like to thank Sod Solutions, their CitraBlue St Augustine grass, CitraZoy zoysia, and that beautiful North Bridge Bermuda. Thank you so much, Sod Solutions, for making this happen. And then of course, Yard Mastery, that's my company. We also sponsored this. I'd like to thank our folks that help work with our customers and help them every single day. You guys are awesome. So thank you once again, everybody, for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for checking this out. And if you're gonna be at the Freedom 500 Friday night, I will see you. I'll be sitting over in turn 1. I look forward to meeting you. With that, I'll see you in the lawn.